I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good afternoon, Fabiana Elisa Martínez. Did I do it correctly?
Perfectly, Angel. Thank you.
Go. Hey, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. You are the teacher, right? So I need to make sure I get this correct, right? But Fabiana, please do tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I live in Dallas, Texas, United States.
That's wonderful. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting?
Well, basically because I speak languages. I love languages since a very young age. And I started teaching Spanish as a second language many years ago. And then I came to the States to bring that company I had in my country, Argentina, where I was born. So I came to the United States, to Dallas, and I continued doing what I was doing there, was teaching languages, mostly Spanish. But I think I ended up here because of that, because I was teaching languages.
That's amazing. So who taught you the language, the first language of Spanish, el español?
Well, I was born in a bilingual family because my first language was Spanish, the language of Argentina, but then in my grandparents' house, they spoke Gallego, which is one of the languages of Spain, which is very similar to Portuguese. It is talked in the northwest part of Spain, Galicia. So I was raised in a bilingual environment, and then I was learning English from, kindergarten. So that makes 3 languages. And then when I went to college, I studied linguistics and world literature, and I studied Latin and Greek, and that opened the world for me to study 2 more languages, which are French and Italian.
Wow. Now, is it like a switch that you turn on and off, or are you constantly translating in your mind different languages?
Well, they say that when you are bilingual, your brain is running all those languages at the same time. That's why it would be very easy for me to switch right now from English into Spanish or maybe French. So it's like your brain is running different operating systems at the same time. And so it's a great exercise for your brain. At this moment, I think I'm able to do that in 3 languages, which are English, Spanish, and French.
Wow. Now tell us about the podcast that you're hosting.
Well, we started Spanish 360 with Fabiana some years ago with 2 of my students, Byron Cryer and Chris Hendricks, and we decided basically to replicate what we did in our regular class. They thought it was going to be a great idea. So we started the adventure and it went very well. So the podcasts are still available. And we have people listening to them, even when, as I said, they started years ago.
Yeah.
So I continued the adventure with languages. And not long ago, I also published a bilingual book, which I think it's kind of a consequence of having started all these, language adventures. And maybe the podcast was kind of an inspirator for the book.
Yeah. Now, the book is 12 random words, right?
Yes.
Where did you come up? I mean, we love the number 12 here on the 12-minute Convo podcast, right?
Yes.
Tell me where you came up with the name for that.
Well,
what's it about?
It's because the book is a collection of short stories, and the book has 2 versions. One is in English and Spanish, and the other one is English and French. And we are working on a 3rd version, which is English and Portuguese. And there are 12 stories in the book. Really, there are 13, but that's kind of a surprise. And each story was inspired by a random word that I was given. And I had to write, as a literary exercise, I had to write about that specific word without choosing the word. So when I had, all those words together, I decided to publish all the stories, and that's why there are really 12 random words.
Wow, sounds like fun. So it's like writer's improvisation.
Yeah, kind of, but it's a lot of work,
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So this is available on Amazon?
Yes, absolutely. It is available in Amazon. And as I said, it's English, Spanish, and English, French. And I'm very happy because I heard the school decided to use the book as a teaching tool. And I wrote the book as a piece of literature. So I'm very happy that schools are paying attention to literature, not only, to grammar books, to teach languages, to make it fun, to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Hey, well, Fabiana, please do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Well, teaching writing, and something I love with all my heart is going to the theater. So I used to be a theater critic in Argentina for a radio show. So that's why I love your voice and I love what you're doing because it's so much like radio. But I love that with all my heart. And I think a good teacher has to be a good actor. So I think that, the love for theater and the love for literature and the love for languages are in a way all facets of the same love.
How does it make you feel going to the theater? You're all dressed up and you're walking there. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel complete. It makes me feel that I'm in the right place at the right time and I don't want to be anywhere else.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Fabiana, where should we go if we wanted to connect with you, if we needed to get your services? You are a translator, right, as well, right? You are a professor. There's so many things that you're doing, right? What's the best place for us to go?
Well, you can go either to the book website, which is 12randomwords.com,
right.
Or you can check the podcast at Spanish 360 with Fabiana.com. Or you can check, my language company, which is talkactive.info. And that is where I, show my professional services, interpretation, translation, and classes.
Big question. Why will you continue along this road of life with what you're doing?
Because I cannot think of myself doing anything else. I would never retire of doing what I do because I have been doing this for all my life. I remember sitting with my dad when I was 3 and asking him the meaning of words in English. So that is, I was born to do this, and there's no retirement, thank God. I'll be always surrounded by languages and words.
That's wonderful. Amazing audience. We are live with Fabiana Elisa Martínez, right? Do check her out. Again, she's the author of 12 Random Words, and you always can connect with her via Talk Active, or even 12randomwords.com. Fabiana, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Fabiana, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I think it's what I was telling you, sitting with my dad. My dad used to record our conversations. He thought they were interesting, like a conversation with a 3-year-old. And we talked randomly. But I remember one of the things I liked the most was to ask him how to say certain things in English, because I was mesmerized by the fact that he could speak English. So I remember that and how happy I was. And I also felt very, very powerful when he didn't know a word I wanted to know. So that showed me that there's always something new to know. And even my daddy, he was my hero. He still is. Sometimes didn't know a word. So there's always something to find and to learn about.
Yeah. So you're 3 years old. You're asking your father these questions. Yes. He's recording you. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Because it is very powerful, and I think it was like a hint of what I was going to become. And look here, what are we doing? We're recording this conversation and we're talking about words. Do you see?
Yeah, so it is amazing. Wow. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Okay.
I love the idea of the theater that occurred in the moments when you asked your father. It's like the same improvisation, if you would, like the book you wrote, where you took one word and you wrote a chapter, right? And with your father, it's like he took one word, like you asked him to basically, or what's the English for this, right? And then that in itself created an entire story.
Yes.
So to see the improvisation in your life, and it's a beautiful canvas, if you would, of literature and language, right? But to see what that has become now is pretty fascinating to me.
Oh, thank you very much. It is for me, and I I'm surprised by that every day. I try to keep the magic of the world. I don't want to know the tricks of magicians, because I still believe in magic, and all these things show me that magic exists.
There we go. Well, Fabiana, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
I was thinking about that question, and I think it may be a very cheesy song by an Italian singer that was very popular in Buenos Aires when I was 12. Her name is Raffaella Carrà, and we were dancing all her songs like crazy at that age. And I know she's still around, and she's a wonderful, very elegant Italian lady. So I think it may have been one of her songs.
All right. Do you remember the name of the song?
I know there was a song that was like a telephone number, that she was trying to give her telephone number to her, new lover. And I think it was 0303456.
All right. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's going to be yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Fabiana?
Yes.
Fabiana, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
All my students.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have children?
I don't.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in the harmony of the universe.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't know how to turn on the TV, so I really don't watch any TV.
Wow. And what about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I think it is less, but I'm connected all day long, and sometimes I need to work with the computer. So it depends on the day. But I have a lot of, personal time with my students, one-on-one. So that carries away the screen time, which is a great thing.
All right. Fabiana, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook. The name of it is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. And my idea is, as you answer these questions, you uncover your mission, your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us, Fabiana, your own unique real statement, your mission, if you would, what would you say that is?
I would say learn languages. They make you free. A new language is like a new passport, and it will allow you to connect with more people, and it will allow you to read books that are not translated in your own language, and that will make you free.
Love it, Fabiana. This was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would say I'm here to help with languages. I'm very happy that we met in this crazy cyberspace. And I wanted to thank you very much for this great opportunity, Angel.
You are welcome. Fabiana Elisa Martínez, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.